The past 20 years of web and visual design have created some explicit design principles that most people subscribe to. Some so-called best practices or high-performance HMIs. When we build industrial IT systems, we often have two platforms in mind, a desktop version and a mobile version. This is important to keep in mind when designing systems, but in this video, we'll only look at the fundamentals for what good visual design is. One of these principles is our use of color. Believe it or not, but 8% of all men are somewhat colorblind. If we only rely on color to indicate important information, these people will not be able to decode it. When we use color, it's important not to rely on the color itself, but instead use the tone and grayscale. This makes it a lot easier for these 8% of people to actually identify and distinguish the colors. Some people might say, isn't it a lot easier to remember what a color signifies than remembering where on the grayscale a system changes status? And yes, these people would be right in saying that. That brings us to principle number 2. We always rely on more than one indicator to convey important information. This means that we not only rely on grayscale and colors, but also text and graphics. As this example shows, the colored boxes indicate both color and text. This makes it exceedingly difficult to misread. Graphical elements and symbols are another way that we clearly communicate information. They're most effective when we use them in a simple manner and consistently throughout the IT system. In other words, it's essential not to use different symbols for the same part throughout the system. We've had an incredible evolution in how we build industrial IT systems. Compared with 20 years ago, we're in this wonderful situation where we can almost build anything we want. But this freedom can sometimes backfire. It can create a problem where we build our systems more complicated than they need to be. In this video, we've looked at a few best practices for designing industrial IT systems. And there are a lot more, of course. In general, it's beneficial to subscribe to these golden standards, or high-performance HMIs as they're called. But all companies are of course different, and sometimes it can be beneficial to deviate from the norm.